and welcome to Talking Offstage with me, Soda, and Aaquib Jaleel. And today we have someone really special. His name is Sunil Suresh, and he can replace a drum kit for much cheaper. Yes.
Yeah.
That is not post-production, that is actually this man's mouth. And now we will hear words. Hello! Yes. My hand is here, it is not behind him, he is not my puppet. And this is what the edit will start with. Welcome to Talking Offstage, where we talk to many artists, one at a time, who are all contributing to the cultural phenomenon that is the budding arts scene of the Chennai city of Madras.
Interesting. Thank you for having me here. I think it's a great honor.
And now we will go on to our on-location correspondent.
Yeah, like I was just thinking, like, what happened? Like through the thought process, all you went like, I need words, some form.
So, what do you do as of now? Tell us all the things you do.
Okay, as of now, I'm a programmer, not like the computer kind. I take up event spaces and I help them set up events and have our independent artists come in for a space for them also to collaborate with the venue and create an independent source of income there.
Nice.
That's one.
Okay.
And also, I'm a beatboxer. I've been doing this for 9 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Beatboxing for 9 years. Nice.
So I started off my beatbox journey. I'm from Bangalore,
Okay.
so I've been beatboxing from school there.
Oh.
And I had my big break when I was on India's Got Talent. So
What?
Wait, what?
Oh my
you don't
god.
We don't know this story.
I didn't have cable back then, so like it's his fault more.
It's I didn't see you at
So,
all
yeah, when I
because
was
I didn't
around-
watch India's Got Talent.
Yeah.
I watched the better ones. You know,
I mean,
like
I was
Amrit
doing
Khan.
yeah, even I didn't watch it, bro. But then it was a good platform at that point. I was about 18 years old. I just hit puberty.
Were you like the
properly.
youngest, one of the
Were you the
youngest
youngest?
people in that season?
I think one of the youngest beatboxers to take up that stage. So we
Oh,
went
nice.
all the way to the semis. We were
Oh.
wildcard winners also.
Wait,
So-
wait, when you mean we, like you went as a group
Yeah,
of
me and
beatboxers?
another beatboxer named Hilal. So
Hilal.
Hilal,
Oh, Sunil and Hilal.
correct.
Wow.
Sunil and Hilal.
Hilal and Sunil. Sunil and Hilal. Dude, that sounds like the backing track to like the next mumble rap song.
Yeah, you want to try it? I'll give you the track right now. So we'll see if y'all can hit a freestyle.
Are you serious? Okay, apparently we're trying this.
Hilal and Sunil eat a happy meal. McDonald's. Where my sponsorship at? McDonald's.
Swiggy 40.
No, Swicky. What?
I'm still hungry, guys.
So how did you? So like, I mean, beatboxing. I don't even know what the scene is. So, were you born and brought up in Bangalore?
Yeah,
Are
I was
you-
born in Dindigul, but then
Oh.
they exported me to Bangalore. From
Nice. Thank you for proving again the observation that nobody seems to be born in Bangalore and raised in Bangalore. Everybody
Yes.
is born somewhere and then imported or exported to
Very true.
Bangalore.
But like, how did you like start off? Like, did you watch a YouTube video? Did you
Yes.
see somebody beatbox? What
So
was
I
it?
used to try freestyle rap back in school, which really didn't work.
Wait,
out for
wait,
me.
wait. You made us do freestyle rap.
Bro, I was in school. I used to write some things about homework and stuff. So I don't think.
Do you
people wanna hear-
do you
No,
remember
I don't
any
remember
of them?
that, bro.
Oh,
It was like
too
years
bad.
ago.
I think he just wanted us to freestyle, so his memory of him freestyling was still sacred.
Yeah.
I think-
It's like,
I
I am
think-
better than these guys right now.
I think you will always be better
Yeah,
than
I
both
like
of
being
us.
like a superiority. Yeah. You guys don't know anything about hip hop. What's this?
Like, what was that structure, bro?
So what, like you guys would cipher and then you would get
Yeah,
into like
so
a
I
beatbox.
so I had a best friend named Sharath. He used to beatbox. He had the basis of beatboxing. So he introduced me into the art, and then from there I picked it on
Oh,
and I
nice.
fell in love with it.
Oh.
And I've been doing that constantly
Okay,
for a long time.
like earliest memory when Sharath was the one who taught you. Right?
Correct.
What did he like teach you? The first basics
So
of beatboxing.
initially he told me how to spit. So it's like, phew.
Is that a real thing?
That's an actual thing. That's what exactly happened. So let's try it together, guys.
Okay.
So this is your moment of
Right.
Okay.
Okay.
falling into the culture. The first sound, phew.
Phew.
Who?
Second sound, like a tire goes flat. Tss. Tss. Yeah. Sharpen that goes. Tss. Tss. Perfect.
Yeah.
Third sound is like when you're very pissed off with something like when can I go eat? Sorry, my bad. I zoned out for that moment. Okay.
He was just like, why am I teaching beatboxing?
So spitting and then like the
Pressure goes. Tss.
and
And the.
And
okay. Huh.
Yeah, now you put it in a rhythmic pattern. Like. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is how beatboxers rule the world. We bring in the language to these two girls. Okay, that's about it, guys.
I'm suddenly like a little iffy about your freestyle career.
Exactly why I don't do that.
I got in touch with my feminine side and she still hates me, so it's fine. Bangalore to Chennai, when did that happen?
So it happened at 2018. I moved here during November.
Oh, you are you came after all the storms and the floods came and went.
Correct. So
Oh,
I knew
nice.
now it's like cleaned and washed out. So
Okay.
Wait,
most
excuse me?
careers.
Was there a scene in Bangalore for you to beatbox? Like, did you discover a scene there? Because
Yeah,
I feel like rap itself is so niche still, like in the indie circuits. So like, how niche is beatboxing? Like, how do you guys a group of you? Do you have a WhatsApp group where you send audio notes and stuff?
Definitely.
Like
So now we are we are a 7,000 strong community. So we've been building
And this is
building
across
awareness
India?
throughout India. Yeah.
that? Whoa.
So there are
So-
like 7,000 beatboxers.
Around India, which we have documented. So we have all of their things. So we've taken a very forefront. So I work with this thing called Beats Club.
Huh.
So that's the basis of, it's just a small group of us, but we're all beatboxers, very passionate. We have different things which we do, but we come together to create and enhance the art form.
Okay.
So now, as part of Beats Club, we also have this annual event which we do. It's called Colossal. So before we initiated this event, always beatboxing was part of some other big festival. Like it would have like a 1 hour time slot. So now we are exploring into the space where we're doing this over a span of 4 days.
Wow.
And just beatboxing.
Just beatboxing. So like Bangalore's been supportive that way, that some sponsors also come in. So
So across 4 days, do you do workshops and
correct.
all of that?
So the very first day we'll have the workshop. We're bringing down a judge from Italy.
Whoa.
So he'll be one of the main frontlining
what's his
judges.
name?
His name is Enemy. So you should check him out.
Enemy.
Yeah, it's not
Wow.
NME. So
NME.
Yeah, he's
NME.
like
I
a
like it, I like
21-year-old beatboxer who's actually established himself in the world
Okay.
stages. So we're bringing him down as
So
a
he's
special
like Tom
judge.
Thumb.
Yeah, Tom Thumb is
That's the only
godlike.
global beatboxer.
What did you say?
Yeah,
Tom Thumb is?
it's like
Like very level.
yeah, very level. But
Yeah.
hopefully we'll bring him down.
So, the one thing I've always wanted to understand is that, like for any art, there's always that argument between were you born with it or can anybody learn it? So, what would you say about beatboxing? Is it something that anybody can do, or is it something that you have to have like that talent for?
I think everything in life, you just have that level of interest, you can pick it up. So I strongly believe that. I think just a few moments ago, you both were beatboxing, if I'm not wrong.
Yeah.
So
I mean, like he knows a little more than I do.
but you were better than him, so
No,
kudos to that.
so the thing is that I used to
sorry, Aaquib.
like him, and
I'm
there's
very
this other guy.
critical,
His name is Triple B. They call him
Oh,
Triple
yeah,
B.
Triple
Yeah. So Triple B and him. So I didn't know this, but so Triple B came to judge some college cultures or whatever, where he was there, and then he saw Triple B and he started beatboxing, and then like the three
Oh,
of
yeah.
us met, and then literally Triple B on this side, Aaquib on this side, and they would be like beatboxing, and then I also picked it up for like one joke that I did on stage. So I know like 3 sounds. One is and the other one is,
Yeah.
and then he can't do that.
Yeah, I can't do.
That's the only sound he can't do. So whenever he's like freestyle beatboxing, I come up like and then I walk off.
I like break down as a person. Like my entire life is a lie. I'm like, why can't I do that one sound?
Yeah, like they'll be talking about, hey bro, hi-hats. I'm like, you guys don't wear hats. You wear a helmet, you're a biker, I get that. What are these hi-hats that we're talking about? And then I was like, oh, that sound is hi-hats. Okay, cool. So, where did beatboxing begin? Like, is it just because people couldn't afford drums, or like?
Is it like a poor man's instrument? Is the question.
Not necessarily. So I'll tell you about why. I think it's more about accessibility. So a lot of musicians, I know many producers. I think in the international scene, I think Avicii and all used to beatbox whenever he has ideas about a soundtrack, but he can't immediately access something, right? So he would replicate it with his phone with just the beat patterns, things like that. So that really brings a musician accessibility to a.
No, that actually makes sense also, because MJ was so pitch perfect. Like Michael Jackson was so, I don't know why he just like MJ, you know. He's like a bro.
Sassy guy.
But Michael Jackson, what he would use, because he was so pitch perfect, he would just record him like talking through a beat,
Correct.
and like trying to mix
Yeah.
sounds.
Even on the
And
Chennai
the
scene, we
producer
have
would do
TR, right?
Oh
Yeah, so see?
yeah.
The guy knows it
Michael
well,
Jackson,
though.
even for dance steps, he wouldn't say 1, 2, 3, 4. He'd be like, pa, poo, pa. It's like Michael Jackson and Jackie Chan were sort of like the same. Like Jackie Chan would be like, boom, 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 ba, ba, ba. Like
Actually,
it's
they
the same
choreograph
rhythm.
the things with
Yeah.
the sound because
Yeah. So
Because that's the feeling that needs to be there.
come from
that was
within.
yeah,
You're
that
creating
was
it. So.
violent, but okay.
Okay.
So, what is the first hurdle for you when you? So, I'm guessing that there were times when you were frustrated because you're just like, I want to make this sound. Everybody seems to be able to make it. So, like, how do you figure that out? Because like any other art, like let's say like if it's a guitar or like a physical instrument, you can see somebody do it and then you can literally mimic that physically. But you can't, like if it's beatboxing, like you can't make somebody open their mouth and be like, what are you doing with your tongue and your teeth and your cheeks? Okay, now I know how to do
It's
that.
100% trial and error, bro. Like any sound you want to replicate, it's just a way of saying it, right? Like any language you're trying to learn also, it's going to be similar. You're going to first try to break down the sound in your head and try to replicate it through your vocal thing. And that's what I think most of the beatboxers overcome.
What's like the hardest sound for you, like that you finally learnt, but like
I think
took you some time?
I mean, it's not finally learned. Now I'm able to pick up sounds faster, but one sound which was in particular, which is called the BMG snare, it goes like, it's a very sharp snare and it took almost like 3 months to
It
get.
sounds easy though.
No,
It's like
it sounds like a well-mannered elephant who sneezed.
Yeah, like,
Achoo.
Yeah.
so yeah, so that's a
But like,
difficult sound.
why? Like, can you do that in a beat? Like, use
Yeah,
that in
like-
a beat?
Oh.
Now I get it.
Yeah, so even though there's a simple beat pattern, but to get that sound with the,
Like that clarity
yeah,
also.
so that takes time.
I like that. That just threw me off like bad.
Yeah.
Like oh.
Like now I'm just like thinking about all the songs where I thought somebody was just like dragging something on a surface and that's how they made that sound.
Yeah, dude.
How far can you go as just a beatboxer, or do you have to collaborate with like musicians
Rappers
or
and
vocalists at
musicians,
some
yeah.
point?
So right as of now, most of the time where I think beatboxing is popular is by collaborating with a cappella bands or
Right.
certain rappers and things. So that's like the forefront. But there is actually a complete underground community that only beatboxes. And people are traveling the world only using this particular art form. And also a lot of neuroscience institutes are taking up beatboxers and studying how their brain functions, because
Oh.
through producing these sounds, there's actually an entire article by this beatboxer from UK named Reeps1. He collaborated
Reeps1.
with Nokia, and they had done a study on how your brain functions when
As a
you're
beat-
beatboxing. Yeah.
Oh.
So the brain activity is so much higher. Now they're incorporating beatboxing with autistic children. So it helps them focus more. ADHD is also, like, beatboxing is being introduced to patients who have attention
Deficiency.
syndrome. So there's a lot of applications which is expanding through this art
No,
form.
but like
So
the ADHD thing is actually very cool because I can totally see how useful that is for kids who have like attention deficiency hyperactivity disorder. Correct? Then I would,
Definitely, yeah.
then I would
That's
say
ADHA, but we'll let you go on that one. So,
hyperactivity
no
disorder.
doctors in this room right now.
No, but like it makes a lot of sense because every time a kid wants to do something, he's just like, okay, I'll just start beatboxing, or I'll just start picking up a song and trying to listen to it and just try beatboxing over it. But were you a kid with ADHD?
I don't know. They never took me to a
I don't think anybody growing up, especially in India, knew what they grew up with, because they would
Exactly,
just
there's
get
no
beat no matter
terminology,
what.
yeah.
Like, oh, you have attention, pay attention.
But
Did you catch that? Did you catch
But that's a
that?
good segue into like how do your parents react to the fact that you're a beatboxer and you do all the
Initially, my dad couldn't stand it, so he'll be watching TV and I'll just be beatboxing, be like, yeah, that's how I would be addressed.
would you add that also to your beat?
Yeah,
Up.
yeah. So my uncle had this standard line where I used to be like, "Yemira Babu," so that was part of my set. So yeah, they were literally.
Yeah,
thinking-
Babu.
So my family completely thought I had a problem, but then they thought
I'm
I was
sure.
dealing with it on myself. But till I got into India's Got Talent, that was the only time where they started respecting the art
Okay,
form.
question. Okay, I really want to know this.
Chinna Vayu, pedda talent. Pedda talent, chinna Vayu. Hey, Raskora!
Multilingual podcast. Yeah. No, but they have that segment, I'm sure, because they had it for all the Got Talents, where they spoke about you and like what did they say? Like for you, like
As in like
Sunil,
an intro.
like as an intro to you.
Yeah, we went there with a very funny structure. We were very carefree. We were at the peak of every high, if you know what I mean. So, we were just having fun throughout
life.
Yeah, life.
Yeah, because we
He
were
inhaled the air like frequently.
No, I'm not talking about that. I'm just saying like there's so much attention towards us. So we
Yeah.
were just riding with that, and it pretty much worked out for us that way. We weren't really paying too much attention on how they're
Yeah.
perceiving us. We were like, this is a great place for us to showcase that this art form exists. And
Yeah.
I
Because
think that's why you went that
beatboxing
far.
alters brain function, and that is why they were high on everything. Because
There'll be one small tabloid to prove or disprove its facts. Don't worry, guys. I got this. Can
So-
you please check on that?
so before,
actually, yeah.
how did you apply for like India's Got Talent and all of that? How did you get to hear? Because we never get to hear, dude. Like,
So social media was there. Actually, funny thing is, for that audition, we came from Bangalore to Chennai because it was happening in Chennai.
wow.
So we caught a train.
How
we,
long
we
ago
did-
was this?
This was 2013. So I was just out of college, like
Oh.
12th grade.
Okay.
Got a train here. Didn't really tell our family because they didn't.
Wow.
Yeah, we
Oh.
sneaked out.
Huh.
Somehow we planned on finishing the entire audition within a day and coming back to Bangalore by evening, but
But
that didn't work
you
out
had to
because
wait.
yeah, our shoot was like at 11:30, and then we stayed on the streets. Yeah, that hectic.
Yeah,
But then it
The
worked out in the
streets,
end.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
streets
did.
are
It
real.
obviously worked out in
Yeah.
the end for you guys. Well, so like that initial high helped you like grow more as an artist, you feel?
Definitely, because the kind of network which we got over there, because India's Got Talent was a pool of brilliant people who have been taking different art forms and cultivating it.
Did you ever collaborate with
with
anybody?
a lot of them. So
Okay.
post
Who were
in-
the judges?
Karan Johar, Kiran Kya, and Malika Arora.
Oh, right. Oh, correct. I remember now. Yeah.
Guys, we started with him.
Kiran
Could be you
Kher,
next.
Karan Johar, and Malika Arora Khan. Wow.
But like
Dancer,
yeah,
actor,
so
and director.
who
Nice.
like within that sphere, like the other competition, who did you like really like collaborating with?
There was this interesting guy who used to play the flute with just his vocals.
What?
What?
Yeah, I don't know.
Oh, like how people make like the trumpet sound? Like
yeah,
that?
like that.
What?
And then there was a couple of 60 to 80-year-olds who were a group of friends from way back in the day. They came together and they were all a harmonica band. So a lot of interesting people like that.
No, I've heard of this boy from Chennai. I don't know his name, but he's whistled. He's a professional whistler.
Yeah,
Yeah, he
He's
comes
whistled
to
for like
our-
Hollywood stuff and all.
yeah. We I don't know if he's done.
He's
Hollywood.
the same guy. I don't know.
He's
yeah.
the same guy. Maybe.
I don't know. Maybe.
There's a whistler that we saw at an open mic as well.
Is like he did Kala or something.
Yeah.
Ah.
Like there is like some strange talent out there,
Yeah.
especially with like the mouth.
You know why? Because India's got talent, and so does Sunil.
Thanks.
Yes.
I
So-
think I do.
So how do you measure how good you are getting as a beatboxer? Because like I guess beatboxing is something where you like even if you record it yourself, you're still hearing what you already hear when you're making that sound. Like when you're singing.
No, that's completely wrong. Actually, what you think you're making a particular sound with what actually it sounds is two different things. Like how singers have this falsetto version, like their mind voice against what they're actually singing, right? So similarly for beatboxers also, we think a particular sound's output is like this. So there's so that kind of clarity is what I want to grow as a beatboxer with every simple sound I make.
So how do you balance that out? Like at what point, like do you feel like okay, I'm closer to listening to the actual sound that's coming out versus what I think it is? Like how do you sort of train yourself to be like, okay, I need to hear not from within my head but like outside with like the noise that's coming back in?
Okay, usually on stage performances, the monitor does that for me.
Right.
But apart from, like, I love organic beatboxing as well, so
Right.
mostly on reaction. I continuously record whatever I produce, so
right.
I get a fair idea of how it's gonna sound, the
Right.
timing, the placements, the velocity at which each sound is like.
Do you like listen? Like, do you feel like the music you listen to changes the way you
Definitely
beatbox?
influences. So I always, one of the best ways I find myself practicing is trying to follow the beat pattern of every song I'm listening to. So it's like
I know this is like a strange question, but like, do you listen to jazz?
Yeah,
And
but that's complex structure.
yeah, it's a very complex structure. But have you heard of anybody who can like follow that kind of beat pattern? Are there beatboxers like that?
Definitely, there are a few. I think not very sure, but that's not because beatboxers right now. At least it's very concentrated in the hip hop culture.
Yeah, I'm
space.
sure. Yeah.
So it's more of drum and bass, trap music. So it's
But
like
isn't jazz slower?
dubstep.
So
It's not the problem of slower. It's the problem with jazz is it's improvised. So like what you think could be the bass line is not exactly
Yeah, but
what the bass line could
he's
be.
not. He's
Yeah,
not
so
going
the
to be
bars
on
are the
stage.
same. I just have to change up the sound. So it'll be like,
Ah.
this is the way you start the trumpet. I don't know.
That's not a trumpet.
I can't make the trumpet
That's
sound.
a Nadaswaram begging for mercy.
Please do a trumpet sound, Ra. Show us.
See, I never claimed, which is why
I
was
never
quiet
claimed
while
either.
You went for it.
You don't. Yeah, I just like, sounds like it could
And
be
kids,
a
that's what
trumpet.
happens when you blow your own trumpet, especially if it's imaginary. PSI.
I hate all of you.
So regional sounds. So
The pangut.
what are the different sounds within India when it comes to beatboxing?
So again, it's how a beatboxer interprets it. Right now, if you mostly all the beatboxers that are Indian origin, they definitely know these two things which you would have seen them perform. Also, it's the dole or urmi, they would say it.
Yeah. Right.
So that's one of the sounds. Then the others are snare like.
I feel like having a veshti, like taking it up, drinking some whiskey.
I think you
Just
can do like a
generally.
CGI.
And that is why we don't have sponsorship, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so how many hours a day initially did you think? I mean, like obviously you may not have counted because it's like a new thing and you're almost always doing it. But do you feel like you have to sometimes do something to feel like you're actually keeping in touch?
So when my learning phase was during competition. So we used to have beatbox battles. That's when I was very serious about my practice hours of what I'm going to be preparing, set lists and all of that. Now it's more like I just enjoy doing it as an art. So it depends on the time of the day or the mood or the kind of vibe I'm in. That's the only time I beatbox as often.
Honestly, though, anytime I see you, you're
because
beatboxing.
I'm
Yeah,
feeling
but
good all
that's
the time.
also because like he has a mic and a looper and all of that.
Yeah.
Talking about the looper, that's
Yes.
like my favorite piece of equipment for a beatboxer as of right now. But like, so when did you change to that? Like, cause that's like a huge, such a huge
Definitely.
advantage as
Definitely.
a beatboxer.
For those of you who don't know what is a looper, it is a device that records sounds that can then be played simultaneously so as to sound like an orchestra or like more than one. That is the
This
product.
is the looper.
Yes. Do not look at it for more than 10 minutes. He will ask for fees.
Definitely.
So basically, using this, you can actually come up with a variety of sounds and actually make a song instead of having to make all the sounds at the same
Exactly.
time.
So this overcomes the limitations of human. I think the technology of this is that I can create an entire 1 hour set, have an entire dance show as well, like maybe perform in a pub or a club, like where
Right.
people can dance to it. So that's it's an unlimited possibility, and I'm still learning, and I think
It's a very cool piece of software. I mean, hardware, not software.
There is some software as well.
I guess.
I mean, there's display and all of that.
yeah, I was a commerce student, so I don't
Hey, yes, commerce for the win. BCom?
Mm.
Okay, BBA.
Bro, BCom, FNA.
What is that? Oh, finance and accounting. Oh, yes. I love finance and accounting as a concept. Just as a concept. It is important to learn what you suck at. That is where it comes. So, how do you control the energy of the audience? Like, because I don't know if I could calmly sit and listen to somebody beatbox, but also at the same time, I don't think you can keep me hyped for that long. Also, so how do you do?
I would like
that?
to disagree. I've seen this band.
So it
It's pretty hype. Yeah.
Yeah, it depends on crowd to crowd. So it depends. I completely change my sets based on the crowd. So if I know the audience around me are all hip hop based or they're here to actually watch a performance, then I would really show what the technicalities of a beatboxer. Like I would show sounds and things. Otherwise, if it's a general audience, then I would make it very interactive. I would do simpler sounds, not really complicate the.
Do you think that like, because I'm sure you've done like a lot of shows where like nobody's really listening and you're sort of in the background of things. What do you do then? Do you like just mess around, or do you like try to get people interactive?
How do you not listen to beats?
The same. That's
Yeah,
the whole. There are people who
cases,
just do that. Like,
So-
if you're at a venue and there is somebody talking at the venue, like
Right.
if it's stand up, it's a different issue altogether.
Yeah.
But even music, just generally, it becomes white noise to a lot of them.
Yeah, I guess I mean I understand what you're saying, but then I feel like if it's a sound being played, then you can actually catch on to that and make it background noise. But if it's him and he's gonna change it up, then how long can somebody actually ignore him?
Actually, yeah, this is actually very interesting. Like, have you had that where the crowd didn't?
Because
give
if
a
he's
shit
gonna start,
until
if he's gonna start with, and people
are
are like,
gonna
no,
wonder,
I don't
yeah,
care,
so-
and then he like, they're like, oh, what's happening? Because like he's basically they're gonna sing because
got skills.
your heartbeat.
he just went faster.
Yeah, your heartbeat syncs to the music you're listening to, which means this man can actually.
Affect your heartbeat.
Yeah,
That's so sweet.
Wait,
Yeah.
that's way too sweet.
I mean he comes from the heart, guys. Yeah.
No, but like, has that ever happened to you?
Okay.
Hari hari badal rahi.
Okay. I thought he's gonna.
I said, you should have gone
Yeah.
for it, bro. But no, have you ever had like where the crowd wasn't listening to you and then you just kept going, and then they just slowly started listening to you?
Yeah, so there's like a build up to it. So, but the brilliant thing about beatboxing is it's relatively new. So, a lot of people still haven't heard it. So, human curiosity is at a point where they'll definitely step forward to actually see what's happening. So, I think we as beatboxers still have that amazing advantage over an audience at any point. But to the extent of how long they can listen, now that's a factor. Like, so I've done shows for 45 minutes as well. So, either I'll switch it back to ambience, interactive. So it depends again on the venue or the kind of people that's around.
I've also noticed that one of the more interesting things about beatboxers, at least the beatboxers I've seen, is that they use vocals in different ways also. Like they use their own voice to sing, or they might use words to, especially on the looper, to like mix and match. For you, when you hear, do you have a bias against those kind of people who use their vocal range in different ways, or do you feel like this is what
I think that's
beatboxing
what
is?
it's evolving to. That's what I want others to do as well. So when you're using all the elements, so as a beatboxer, I think people just think it's just a, but then there's so much more human vocal can do, like. So there's so many ways you can use your voice.
Don't just nonchalantly.
Now tell me that people actually don't.
Yeah,
It's exactly what I mean. Suddenly like, is it an earthquake? Oh, it's this man. Okay, I listen to you, bro. Just like, don't mess with me. What is
But
the
then-
worst show you had? I think we need to know.
that's the
we need to know
the
what is the
spectrum
worst
we need to know.
show a beatboxer
Can have. I don't think you can ever have a
I've
bad
had a
show.
No,
very
come on, yeah.
intensely flop show where.
But was it an
so-
equipment failure?
It was more of an environment failure. Let me
Okay,
explain.
yes. Then we
So,
will,
So like,
so
our
there was a
current
village, and there was a village outside. It's close by to Hubli. This is in Karnataka.
Oh,
So
right, Hubli.
the governor there, or like contract, I don't know. Okay, one of the high officials' daughter saw us perform on TV and all of that, so they wanted to bring us down there.
This is from Got Talent.
Yeah,
Oh,
after that phase.
okay.
So they flew us there. I mean, like basically they drove us down there. Everything. They gave us a nice place to stay, and then we went to the stage. So basically we were opening for a temple. So we are the opening act for them to open a temple. And trust me, bro, after that day, I really believe in the forces of nature, because we were like, okay, what is happening? We were playing around with the mic, the setup, everything is good. And 5 minutes before we stepped on stage, it starts raining.
Oh.
And the whole village is gathered, everyone's running, it's like I was in a movie. The organizers are crying, saying, oh dude, God is being mean. And we are like, here, just got our advance payment, we still need more payment to get back home. So like, guys.
And it's like a government official also.
Yeah, so
That would have been nuts, dude.
So
that was the worst show
What happened
ever.
though? What
So
happened?
Did you
in the
manage-
Finally,
end?
they brought us there in a nice car, Innova. They sent us back in a public bus. So
Because it didn't happen.
yeah, so They were
But, like,
crying, dude.
But
I
it's not even
understand.
your fault.
I don't know. That's what they thought.
They were like, your presence here
Yeah.
angered the gods.
Yeah, because no, I can totally get it, dude. Because they are like, firstly, why are we inaugurating a temple? Secondly, we have brought these boys who are making Western sounds. Western sounds has angered the gods.
But like,
And then after that only you heard that.
yeah.
Did they tell you this though? Like, we
No,
can't
we
do
had
it.
no idea. They just told a very hefty paycheck. I'm like, cool, let's do it.
You didn't know you were opening for a temple.
Hey, come on, dude. As an artist, come on. We've done worse for no payment.
No, I'm sorry, but not for a temple. Not yet, anyway.
Yeah, they won't call you for sure.
Not for a temple opening, though.
Yeah.
For sure.
And that was how
I
many
heard you
years
did stand up somewhere very.
Let's not talk about that.
ago? That day, even rain could not save.
It was pretty bad, guys. Oh.
So, how long ago was this?
This was again about 4 years back.
4 years
So
back.
after that, it's been all good, smooth events.
After that, he just moved to Chennai.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
Bye.
So you're also. He said like, yeah, I had to like the rains. They chased me away, man, in a bus. Cool. So you've been active in the event space as well as like an organizer. So firstly, how did it feel? Because like me and Aaquib get it because you start off by like entering this community that you didn't even know was there, and then you start like kind of building that network, and then like you start finding people who help you through that, and then you get to a point where you're like, hey, you know what? I could do something for more people like me for them to get to where I am faster and like easier. So like at what point did you feel like, hey, I think I want to do it now. I want to contribute and I want to like open spaces and I want to put the platform up.
So back in Bangalore, I had a set of good mentors who were always working towards artists and
Right.
kind of getting artists liberated, not really being exploited, making sure everyone gets a piece of whatever it is, because like you guys are working so hard on your craft and you're actually bringing people to a particular place as well. So a lot of these business establishments take that for advantage, and I've seen that
I'm sure.
happen here. So initially when I started off in Chennai, I think 6 months ago only I started getting into the event space here because I had to still settle down. Moving here, I had my own personal things to cover. The first thing which I was trying to experiment on was again on my hip hop community, trying to get beatboxers together and the rappers. So that was where I built my network. They didn't really reciprocate. Then I had the opportunity to start hosting open mics, start conducting that, and that's when I met a lot of artists who are really dedicated to what they're doing. And that's what it's exciting to see how far you can really push getting the platform up there and making people realize that the value of what an artist can bring at any point.
Have you like ever had like days? I'm sure because me and Soda had those days where we're just like, because sometimes it feels like we are the only ones who are doing things, and it just sometimes sucks that like there isn't the same reciprocation from any side. Like, have you had those days where you're just like at an open mic and you're like, there's nobody here, but I still have to figure out what to do?
Like those days where it feels like a job.
Yeah, it feels like a job. Like, do you have those kind of days, or like, have you always maintained some kind of?
I think every time I step on stage and pick up a mic, I'm more excited just to experiment and explore myself as an artist or a performer, irrelevant of how the crowd is or how many people are there. So more for me, it's just another opportunity to connect to some other human through my art form. So that's how I really looked at it. And in terms of reciprocation from people around, I think it's a floating crowd, dude. Like,
Yeah.
so in a
Mostly
month, if I'm just a regular guy who wants to support the scene, I would come there once a
Right,
month. So
right.
it'd be like a one-time thing. So that's the only attention span which you can gather from one person. So the more volume of people that you're trying to cultivate and build towards coming down to these events, the easier it becomes to host these events and organize it as well.
So I know for a fact that you don't only do open mics, you also do kind of like shows and things like that, showcase events. So like I'm sure you did this back in Bangalore as well.
Yeah, I still do it. Yeah.
So like when did you realize that from open mics that you can go on to shows? Because it seemed like a very simple thing for comedians because that's the thing that we have to do. But for musicians and like especially for an art form like yours, how do you like figure that out? Like this is a showcase I could do. Or this is the
The truth is, I started open mics only after coming to Chennai.
oh
Because I realized that's the only place where actually artists are getting a opportunity apart from college events. Because when you're in college, you can really experiment. There's a lot of culturals happening.
Yeah.
You can always pick up a mic, but then there's not that much accessibility to people who are really pursuing it as an
Like an
platform.
actual art form. And
Yeah, and I totally see, like, I mean, for somebody doing any art form in Bangalore and they come to Chennai, they see this hole that can be filled.
Yeah, there's a
They're just
huge
like, oh,
void.
dude, like, so as somebody who comes back from Bangalore, like to Chennai, and you know, you see this void, and you're like, dude, like, there is such a huge culture in Bangalore, and like, why is it not happening in Chennai? And like in my experience, like, I've been in Chennai all my life, and also like all my artistic life, whatever that means. But I feel like Chennai is very late to accept something. Like, I feel like we are one of those cultures where if it's not been happening for 10-15 years,
it doesn't have a legacy.
yeah, it's not even a thing. Like, you know, people are still going to like these sabas to listen to music, and it's still debatable whether it's for the pongal afterwards or it's actually for the music. But the pongal has also been getting served there for 20 years. Right?
Yeah.
So like in Bangalore, like, you have a drinking culture. Here you have a culture that doesn't even want to admit that they drink. You know, like, so how did you feel that culture shock when you came here?
Actually, hands down, I would say Chennai has so much more talent. Like the quality of everyone who's taking it up seriously here. Like in Bangalore, everybody is kind of doing it, but no one's really that great. Over here, if I really connect to even artists like you guys, you'll know your craft. You'll know how to present it. So there's a gap which is there in Bangalore. But the thing about Bangalore is everyone who's doing that, they immediately find their circle. They start everything as a community. So everyone in the community starts promoting it.
So basically, like, it's like a community happens and then the art happens. It's not like the artists then form communities.
Yeah, because as artists itself, once we get around like-minded people, everyone has a similar interest of putting up a place where it's socially acceptable, right?
Right.
So, I mean, at least from my personal experience, it's always been from community moving towards building awareness to the art form, and over a period, it gets accepted. So, in terms of beatboxing, when I started out, there's only like 7 to 8 of us, and it was very exclusive to few beatboxers who were doing it on stage and things like that. So we brought in a battle culture. We kept pushing it. Now every college event that happens has a mandatory 1 hour slot for beatbox battles.
That's great.
Yeah, so judges get paid, the winners get paid. So it's become like that, but it definitely doesn't happen over a year's time. It took us about 4 years to get that culture solid in. So now we're planning to take it across India as well. So
that's another thing that I like to talk about, which is like we can keep talking about how art is very important. We can talk about how artists need space and things like that. But at the end of the day, some of us are also trying to live off our thing. And I understand that you weren't just purely into the event space management. You also had a day job for some time. What did you do before?
So in Chennai, I was sales manager for Zomato. So tie up with restaurants and all that. Before that, I was into data analytics. So
yeah, so you're a guy who understands sales pretty well. Like I've had like a personal talk with you.
I learned that here again. I'm not joking. Yeah,
oh wow!
Chennai taught me.
Yeah, because we don't want to buy anything, dude. He has to try way more harder. He
Trust
just like,
me, it's
take this from me.
it's such a challenge. Like it really pushes.
No, because we were talking about this a while back, and it's so intense.
I don't know why. Like I imagine him trying to sell something to somebody in Chennai, and he's like, you know, people in Bangalore are buying it and sell there. No,
definitely that's. I think to build value here, it's more on like what do you say? They say face value. You know, I think a lot of people really value that more than the product or something. I think
it's the same thing. It's always either it has to be there for so long that people finally notice, or it has to be like very shiny. Like I can't say it. It has to be shiny.
So you got like a platform like India's Got Talent, right? And this was like a little early on in your career. So since then, obviously you've gone on that path. But at what point did you realize that? Yeah, I got on that stage, but it's done now, and like it's not gonna do anything anymore for me. Because a lot of like recently, because of like media taking over and all of that, a lot of us think that if I do this for this channel or if I do this for this platform, then like I'm gonna be famous. Like I'm gonna be Michael Jackson till I die. But then somebody with a remote just changes the channel.
And it's done.
And
yeah.
then now
Michael
now
Jackson
it's like,
died.
Yeah, I mean, like it's like now they're watching like an ad. That's basically like we're all trying to like sell ourselves. So
Exactly.
at what point did you feel like I mean, initially you would have had that, bro, India's Got Talent. You watched that. If you didn't watch, it's your fault. Now you're like, yeah, dude, I was on that, and maybe when opportunity comes ahead, I would. But at what point in your life were you just like, you know what, it hasn't really changed the way I work. It's
Correct.
changed that I work harder now because I don't know when's the next opportunity. But like, what is the grounding moment for you?
So during that India's Got Talent phase, like I said, I had a very high phase, getting a lot of bookings and things. But then my family stopped me, and they really got me grounded as to me completing my education, also living at that point in your life, you feel like, oh, this is enough, I can survive out of this.
Yeah.
But then I came to terms with my reality. I was doing it part-time after hours. So I think priorities is what I started setting. So
Yeah.
I didn't have unreal expectations. It was just progress, even if it's just a few thousands or a few hundred more people coming up to a place. It would change the way me as an artist can explore my possibilities. So that was probably my grounding moment. That I
Like
went
the
with
fact, but do you like feel like any regrets about it? Because like it's very obvious that when you finally get that feel of like, oh, I've been doing this. Like, how long did you do
8
it
years.
before the India's Got Talent?
maybe 2.5 years.
2.5 years is pretty long for like at that age specifically. And like suddenly like your parents just coming and saying, hey man, you shouldn't do this. You need to complete your education. You must have like had
I
like
definitely had that rebellious teenage phase.
like, I could do it,
but,
bro.
but right now, Stan, looking at my life from this point, I would definitely don't have any regrets because I think it went in its own phase. I've become more mature as an artist. Probably at that point, if I went with that peak head, I would have different kind of habits. Or usually, what happens, like how people get clouded through a false perception of fame. I'm glad that didn't happen. So now I can pace out my whole life and take it step by step.
That's pretty cool, man. You wouldn't have been on this podcast also, possibly.
Yeah. No, but I have noticed that people who catch on to the fact early itself that, hey, dude, growing up is not the same as just aging. Right? Like, because like a lot of people, like, any art, let's say like a dancer, beatboxer, whatever, you start so early in life and then you realize that technically I've only been doing it like half the time I was doing it because I was a kid back then. And basically I was just like running around, and because I was a kid I was anyways getting attention, and then on top of that I got more attention, and then you become an adult and they're just like, then who are you? And you're like, hey, what? Who do you think I am?
But it's so true though. Like I'm glad that you had that grounding moment, but just think about if you did it.
I would have
Like,
been a
it
child.
should've been-
I would have been stubborn. Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know me. I don't
No,
want to.
I feel like if you hadn't been grounded, then like firstly no high would have been high enough, and then when that high stopped being a high, you would have been like, I'll jump off now.
Yeah.
Like this is the edge. That's all. Like I've seen everything now.
You lose that identity. Like, oh, who
Yeah.
am I? But I'm glad it came early on though.
Yeah, it's like I feel like simply because it was so late, like so early in your life, you were able to find, and you had good mentors, like your parents.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of family do you come from? Like, is there anybody else with any artistic talents in your family?
Actually, no, not really.
Yeah, represent.
Yeah, man. You
But they
were
love
the-
music though. There's always
okay.
music at home. So
Okay.
Well, yeah, that's actually something I wanted to ask you. Is just like what's like your go-to music? Like this is what I will listen to if you go through my playlist, or this is what I would.
No, actually no. If nobody is around and it is just you,
Yeah, like be
What would you
honest
listen to?
about that.
I'm the kind of guy who likes like pretty electronic music because there's so many elements that's added, and I like experimenting. And most of the time, it's just me beatboxing if no one's around. I just like listening to myself.
I feel like before you bought your looper, I felt like the bathroom was your favorite
Oh,
place.
the acoustics
Because
in
like,
there.
you're like,
That's how. He has such a big bathroom, he can get echo, dude.
yeah, hello. If the wall is here also, you can hear. Okay.
No, it's just the ambient.
It's honestly not an echo. It's his father. Who's just beatbox?
Yeah, like I am like, like.
Like, did your family ever pick up any beatboxing?
Yeah, my grandma beatboxes with me, dude.
That is cool.
What?
That is so cool.
She is ultimate. Like, she's always like, I think I learned how to live life to the fullest because of her. Because no matter whatever situation, she always enjoyed. She loved cooking. She loved singing. So I think being brought up with her also as a thing, right? So I used to try teaching her how to beatbox. She'll play around. So yeah.
So okay, I'm like no disrespect, not funny at all. Did your grandmother have all her teeth?
She still does. She
Okay.
has a good dentist.
So here's my question. Okay,
Great dentist.
if somebody has dental deformities, can they still beatbox, or does it take them longer because they have to figure out how the sound
I think
comes out?
the more unique your teeth structure is, the more chances of sounds are. So I have like I have a chipped tooth which gives me a more clarity of. So I'm able to.
Dude, he sounds like that video game.
Yeah.
Like the laser. Yeah.
Oh, okay, nice. So, off late, or like, when is the last time that you thought of, okay, if not beatboxing, what would I have done?
Yeah. What would you have done, Sunil?
Nothing is also a good answer, but
Yeah.
just like,
But it will be. What would you have done?
I think I would have tried b-boying, dude. I love the hip hop culture.
Whoa.
Yeah. I
What-
tried that.
what-
I stood
what-
on my
what-
head. I fell, and I'm like, no, this is not for me.
But like, what would your stage name be?
So I had this stage name called Scarnage. I don't know.
Yes! I've been trying so hard to somehow fit this in. So I'm so thankful.
So the name originated with Carnage, which is like you slay all your you kill people. I just put my name letter S.
S.
Carnage.
Yes.
Also because I have stars.
I like that cute schoolboy thing of initial S. Card initial S.
So there's no reason for
This is one interesting thing like Soda brought up when I was talking to him. It was like hip hop and things like that, right? It's like when they rap, it's always about themselves and like it's not.
No, and it's not even just about themselves. Okay, like I feel like you know what I want? I want a rapper to be like, yeah, bro, that's all I am. They're like, you know who I am? This happened to me.
Actually, that's the problem, that these kind of rappers are being very commercialized. Like, I know so many rappers who really talk real stuff, like what's actually happening. So, I mean, bang, one of my favorite guys called Hanuman Kind. You gotta check him out.
I was listening to him today.
Wow.
I was listening to him today.
Yeah, so you know what I'm talking about. So
Dude, Hanuman Kind is
very
actually
tight with us.
But again, like the thing is, like the recent one which I saw is him sort of like being like hyping himself up.
So I'll tell you how, at least now, the music thing is, they producers are only looking at what sells. So even though an artist wants to put out one particular content, if he's gonna make his bread and butter, he has to put out a content which
They want
actually
like a
works for the
Gucci
crowd.
gang kind of thing.
Exactly.
And end of the day, it's kind of catchy. It's memorable enough for people to.
I think when people
take
stop
hold.
hiring Lamborghinis for rap videos, we'll get better music, because that's when they want to commercialize. They're like, bro, Lamborghini rent I haven't paid. Firstly, that will go.
We are
Your
unable to pay for
royalty and
this.
all later we'll see. Petrol, AC, and then clothes, and then camera, everything.
But
Finally on
do you
5
think
rupees.
that's the same kind of mentality a beatboxer could have? Because like whenever I see a beatbox, I've seen a couple of beatbox battles, and it's very high intense. Like your shit, I'm great. That's how battles usually work. Also, I understand. But
How do you do that with sounds?
there are videos that I've seen, like, and I'm sure.
So even our channel puts out, so that's the web series which we are working on, where it's just we're bringing on all the beatboxers from around India to come and compete there. It'll be recorded, so you can get an idea of that as well.
But like, if it's sound that you're beatboxing against each other, like give us like how, like what would you tell him? What would you tell me so that we could face off?
I think the battle culture is that who performs better also. There's so many parameters, right? I don't know. I'll just look at you and go,
What? Oh my god, hey! I never thought of that. I was just like, he'll make sounds, audience will make sounds. So sound only wins.
yeah, as long as you're producing good music on stage, people are vibing with it. That's how the judges also.
Yeah.
Wow.
So like it becomes a thing of cadence, a thing about what kind of how interesting your flow is.
Correct. So if you look at how there were things where there were DJs who used to battle, and now DJs are the core of every party right now, right? So before the DJ culture stepped in, they used to compete with each other, bring out that technicality of how a DJ performs, things like that. Similarly, what we're trying to structure with beatboxing. Now this loop station has come into the picture. I'm very sure that as vocal musicians, we can definitely do 1 hour sets, 2 hour sets, keep
I'm
up place
sure.
together. Yeah.
I'm sure. What would you like to say to anyone who's like a budding beatboxer or someone budding musician about?
Are there like pages they can join or places they can go to, like platforms they can sign up for?
Like,
Your Instagram handle.
Oh, you want me to tell my Instagram?
Of course,
Yeah,
dude.
you can reach me at Sunil_Suresh.
Sunil_Suresh, because he likes to keep it simple, unlike his beats, which are very complex.
yeah.
Yeah.
You can also follow Scarnage.
Actually, I have a page for that.
Yes!
We are
Scarnage.
finding this page. Scarnage, guys. YouTube channel.
Yeah,
Yes.
definitely do reach out to Beats Club. Beats Club official on Instagram.
How,
so
is that spelled with a Z or an S?
S. There's no fancy. Everything's simple,
BEATSCLUB.
Beats
All
Club.
correct spellings. See, because he completed his education. Kids, he completed his education, he spells all words properly. Be like Sunil.
You spelled it, bro.
I also spelled it.
You were the only one who spelled it. I didn't spell it out. I got scared.
See, be humble. Okay, so before we close, we would also like to tell you what Offstage is about.
Yes.
And Offstage is about finding Sunils and making sure that they don't have to open for temples.
Yeah. Please, never again.
Yeah,
I actually enjoy doing that if there's a proper setup.
Yeah. So,
Get it, Temple.
so like basically we like talking to artists off stage. So we bring them to Off Stage by Asia Will to talk to them in
Thank
front
you
of
so
the
much
camera.
for having me, guys.
Yes.
You can find us on Instagram at Offstage Official and on Facebook as Offstage Official. YouTube also Offstage Official.
Yeah, you can just find us. That's all we ask for. And now we will hear a few. Okay, so when somebody watches this video, we would like to give them 3 sounds that they can make and then decide whether they want to become a beatboxer or not. So what are those 3 sounds? Other than the 3 sounds you showed us,
Give us
there's like
other 3
3
sounds.
Okay, so I'm gonna show different sounds.
Yeah.
And then we'll see how it goes. Like.
Yes.
Yeah, there's a lot of sound.
Yeah.
So much.
Suddenly I was like, close that tap! Oh, it's cool. So yes, thank you so very much for watching till the end and support live arts, support artists, support Offstage.
Also, like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon. I've seen
Yes!
that.
Yeah. And if you don't hit the bell icon, he will make this sound. But if you hit the bell icon, he will make this sound.
Yeah.
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 That's
So
what we
cringy,
will
no?
It's supposed to be.
But it
The
works.
cringe. The cringe is what we live for.
Yes.